You've probably heard this argument before. Your uncle says, asterisk, buy real estate. Land never loses value. Asterisk, your coworker says, asterisk, just put everything in index funds. Let it compound. Asterisk. And you're sitting there thinking, who's actually right? Here's what's wild. Both of them are partially right. And both of them are leaving out the most important part, the math. Asterisk, asterisk today. We're not doing opinions. We're not doing vibes. We're doing real numbers, real comparisons, real scenarios, asterisk, asterisk, based on how regular Americans actually invest. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which one builds more wealth, and more importantly, which one is right for your situation. Asterisk, asterisk, let's get into it. Before we compare anything, we need to set fair ground rules, because this debate is usually rigged from the start. Most people compare the best case real estate story against the worst case stock story, or vice versa. That's not fair. So here's how we're going to do it. Same starting capital of $50,000. Same time horizon of 20 years. Realistic numbers based on US historical averages. And we'll factor in taxes, fees, and real costs, not just the headline returns. And we're going to look at 3 real scenarios. Scenario 1. You invest $50,000 in the S&P 500. Scenario 2. You use $50,000 as a down payment on a rental property. And Scenario 3. You split it, $25,000 each. Sound fair? Good. Let's build the math. You take your $50,000. You put it into a low-cost S&P 500 index fund, something like VOO or FXAX, and you never touch it for 20 years. What happens? Historically, the S&P 500 has returned about 10% per year on average, before inflation, and around 7% after inflation. Let's use 10%, the gross number. So we're being apples to apples with real estate, which will also show pre-tax first. Using the compound interest formula, $50,000 times 1.10 caret 20 equals $336,375. That's turning $50,000 into over $336,000 in 20 years. Now the real costs asterisk. If this isn't a taxable brokerage, you'll owe capital gains tax, typically 15% for most Americans, bringing your take-home to roughly $286,000 in real terms. If it's in a Roth IRA, you pay 0 tax, and the full $336,000 is yours. What you don't need asterisk, no tenants, no maintenance calls, no repairs, no property manager, just patience. The risk? Yes, the market drops. In 2008, it dropped 50%. In 2020, it dropped 34% in 5 weeks. But historically, it has always recovered, every single time. The S&P 500 has been positive in about 75% of all calendar years, since 1928. Now let's take that same $50,000 and use it as a 20% down payment asterisk asterisk on a $250,000 rental property in a mid-size U.S. city, think Columbus, Ohio, or San Antonio, Texas. Your mortgage asterisk. Loan of $200,000 at 7%. Interest, monthly payment of $1,330 for principal and interest, taxes, and insurance of $400 per month, giving you a total monthly expense of $1,730. Asterisk asterisk your rental income asterisk. Market rent on a $250,000 home runs roughly $1,800 to $2,000 per month. Let's say $1,900 average. Net monthly cash flow before maintenance asterisk. $1,900 to $1,730 equals $170/month positive, or $2,040 per year. Now the real math over 20 years asterisk. U.S. home prices have appreciated at about 3% per year historically. Let's use 3.5%. $250,000 times 1.035 caret 20 equals $497,000. Your property is now worth $497,000. You still owe about $130,000 on the mortgage, giving you equity of $367,000 asterisk asterisk, plus you collected roughly $40,800 in cash flow over 20 years. Total wealth created $407,000 asterisk asterisk. That's more than the stock market scenario, on paper. But wait, we're not done yet. This is where most real estate YouTube videos stop, and that's the problem. Real estate has real costs that eat into your returns. Maintenance and repairs run $40,000 to $60,000 over 20 years. Property management runs $43,000. Vacancy periods $15,000. Closing costs on buy and sell $20,000. And capital gains tax on sale $30,000 or more. If you hire a property manager, which most people eventually do, they take 8–10% of monthly rent. Let's say your total hidden costs over 20 years equals $100,000 in today's dollars, bringing your adjusted real estate return to $307,000 ***. Now compare stocks, taxable, $286,000, real estate, realistic, $307,000 ***. They're almost the same, within 7% of each other. And if you used a Roth IRA for stocks, stocks win at $336,000. The real estate win you keep hearing about, it often evaporates when you count real costs. Okay, so does that mean stocks are always better? No, not at all. Here's where real estate genuinely wins * leverage. Because with $50,000 you control a $250,000 asset, while with stocks $50,000 controls $50K. That's a 5:1 leverage ratio, and it's legal, normal, and powerful when prices rise. Forced savings, because every mortgage payment builds equity automatically. Tax advantages like depreciation deductions, 1,031 exchanges, and mortgage interest deductions that can legally reduce your taxable income. An inflation hedge, because when inflation rises, rents rise, but your mortgage payment stays fixed. And tangible control, because you can renovate, refinance, or add value to real estate in ways you simply can't with a stock. And here's where stocks win * liquidity. Because if you need $10,000 fast, you can sell part of your portfolio. Monday morning, you cannot sell one bathroom. Zero management with number 2 a.m. maintenance calls. No difficult tenants, no eviction process. True diversification, because one index fund gives you ownership in 500 companies across every industry, while one rental property gives you 100% exposure to one neighborhood. A lower barrier to entry, because you don't need $50,000 to start. You can begin with $50 in a Roth IRA tonight. And historical consistency, because the S&P 500 has delivered positive returns over every single 20-year rolling period in U.S. history, every single one. So here's the real answer, the one nobody wants to give you because it's not clickbait. It depends on who you are. If you have discipline, patience, and don't want hassle, stocks in a Roth IRA or index fund are probably your best wealth builder. If you have hands-on skills, local market knowledge, and can manage a property, real estate can absolutely build serious wealth, especially with leverage. If you're early in your journey with limited capital, start with stocks, low cost, high accessibility, and time is your biggest asset. If you've already built a solid investment portfolio, adding real estate gives you diversification, inflation protection, and tax benefits. Here's what the data actually shows *. The best investment is the one you actually stick with. Most Americans who fail at wealth building don't fail because they picked the wrong asset. They fail because they quit when things got uncomfortable. Stay consistent, think long-term, and run your own real numbers, not someone else's dream scenario. If this video helped you think more clearly about your money, hit subscribe. Every week we break down real personal finance topics for real Americans, without the hype. I'll see you in the next one.